Hey guys, it's me Chandra again, and today I will do the preparation guide for Dehya. And as usual, I will cover the materials, how much she need, the kit and the talents, the weapon stuff, something like that. And I will discuss a little bit that is he really bad, like people say, and I will give my honest opinion in here. So let's get started. Okay, as usual, we will see what Hoyo first want to do with this character. We only need to read the first sentence to know what is her roles actually, that what they want to do with this Dehya. So they say in here that Dehya is a pyro character who enhances survival capability of her teammates on the field. Basically, Hoyo first want to make her as a tank. So we will see how reliable her in the kit to become a good tank. But before we start first with the ascension and the material that she needs for the talent, whatever. So this one the pyro stone, I forgot what it calls. Usually it's very hard to remember. This one the pupa semital hitam, so get in the desert. This one from eremites, so just don't forget kill a lot of eremites or bandits from Sumeru one. This one the boss one nearby the pyramid, and then the talents this book, and then some eremites, and of course Karamuch as the weekly boss. And if you want to know how much that you need to collect, thanks to Devil Takoyaki to provide this all the calculation, so I will put the credit in the link below. Now we move to the character talent kits, one of the main deal in here. So let's start with the normal attack and charge attack. Basically it's nothing special, it's just like her animation in here is very sick, that Dehya will punch, that I would say it's very unique and very badass, but basically it's nothing special. Now we move to the main gimmick, I believe one of the main gimmick, which is the elemental skill. It calls Molten Inferno. So in here Dehya will create the pyro field. So just imagine same like Albedo, and later it has another kind of additional gimmick where you can maybe probably kind of press like another button, but I believe another button of elemental skill, which is E in the PC. Then Dehya will punch, and then they will reapply the pyro field again, so it kind of replaces the new position. See, Dehya will perform the leaping attack, and before recreating the fiery field at her new position. So it's just like kind of moving to the new place, but with style though. So before it moves, it's kind of punch first in the area, which is looks very cool. And then this is actually it's kind of fair sad part, because this field basically will inherit the remaining duration from previous field, meaning that if you already use the first field by 3 seconds and you decide to move to the new position, it's only remain for 7 seconds. It didn't refresh like for 10 seconds again though, so which is pretty kind of sad though, because if you it will reset right if you trigger the E again. But for Dehya, no, it's only inherited into the new position, but not the skill duration. So further information about this elemental skill, the Molten Inferno, after you create this Fiery Sanctum or the Pyro field, and then later within this field, if you attack the enemy, it will apply Pyro, and of course it will deal Pyro damage that based on Dehya attack and max HP. So we know her scaling is attack and max HP, that can trigger every once 2.5 seconds, which is, I would say, for Pyro application 2.5 seconds is quite long, so it's a little bit unfortunate. And then also in here it has a further effect when you stay in field. The active character in this field will gain the resistant interruption, so that means like the character like Ganyu will benefit in, because Ganyu really need a lot of resistant interruption. If not, the charge attack will get cancelled. So yeah, this is pretty good. And also further they state that when the character take damage, some of the portion of this damage will mitigate to Dehya. So Dehya the one that will take damage instead of our Ganyu. Let's say if we use Ganyu on the field, and it will last for over 10 seconds, which just looks pretty good. And then after that, on certain level of or certain percentage of Dehya max HP, she will stop mitigating the damage, and our Ganyu will kinda take the damage again. Now we move to the elemental burst, which is Leonin bite. Basically in here Dehya will kind of do this punch, sick punch you see, and end up with the kicking. Very looks cool. So the description said that in this state Dehya will automatically and continuously unleash the flame fish. So you know this is automatic, we cannot really control, so it moves by itself. So different kind of like Raiden or Sino that we can control. That this one dealing pyro damage based on her attack and max HP. So we know that this scaling is actually very important, because same with the elemental skill. And then later she will end with the incarnation drive. Incarnation drive is the kick though, you see, that dealing AoE pyro damage that scales same with before, attack and max HP. And there's another feature in here. If you already create the pyro field or the elemental skill one, the Fiery Sanctum, and then you decide to use this burst, later when after you finish this punch and then end up with the kick, you see in here, it will create the new field in this new position though. So basically it's another way to do the pyro field again, and I think it's kind of flexible. So, and then later also he state that Dehya unable to cast any elemental skill, normal or charge attack, plunging attack while in the burst states. That's basically mean you cannot do anything while you're ready. You do this burst because this is fully automated though, so you cannot do anything in here. And also in here they say that this roaring barrage is the fist that you already see. So every 0.4 second, this fist will become faster and faster. So it will become faster punch though, and it will end up with a kick. So basically, this bursts more to the offensive though. So usually they're still passive, but they haven't show up. So I have to take the information from beta itself. But take notes, if information from beta, there's still a slim chance, a small chance that they will change the number or multiplier, but they rarely change the entire kit. So far, I remember only Zhongli though that do that. So what this first passive did that within 6 seconds after you activate the elemental skill, then you do this punch, the reposition the pyro field. Like in 6 seconds, Dehya will take lesser damage from the mitigation effect, so that kinda looks promising. So she only takes very small amount of damage though from the enemy while do the mitigation. And further information, after you use the skill, Dehya will increase the resistance by 9 seconds by furthermore. So that's the first passive. And the second passive is that basically if Dehya almost die and HP less than 40%, Dehya will recover the HP. So it's only for herself, not in the other team. So after we've been through all the Dehya kit, is her kit looks promising? I have to say not really, because I have couple complaint and problems. So first, when you first one asked me Dehya as a tank, right? But I already say from her mechanic, shield still looks better, because shield, at least when you have the shield, all the party will not receive any damage, literally zero, and as long as it's not break, there's no damage that you will get. But for Dehya mechanic of tanking, it's a little bit kind of, I would say, weird, which is first, at the best that it's only mitigate the damage itself, that everything, let's say your active character is Ganyu, and then your Ganyu takes like 20k of damage. So let's say, I don't know how much the mitigation, let's say 50%. If the mitigation is 50%, that means 10k will go to Ganyu and 10k go to Dehya. That means both of them still receive damage. And then yeah, there's some of the damage reduction by 60%, but that's only lasts for 6 seconds, that you have to activate the gimmick again though, and that's basically not 6 seconds. If you change to another character, maybe only 4 seconds. So that's still very fast. So basically we can almost sure that almost every time that damage that enemy dealt, it's 100% that we'll get though. It's just like it's only like mitigate to Dehya itself for half of them, most probably, I believe. So that is not looking good. That means both of the parties still receive damage, and like time to time, if we do that in Spiral Beast, we will end up dying and we still need healer, right? So that actually looks very bad. Yeah, of course the resistant interaction looks promising, but the main thing of tanking is to not getting any damage, right? But this one, we still receive damage. We only move to Dehya. And yeah, we know that you say like Dehya can heal from the passive, but still your Ganyu still receive 10k if it's deal 20k, because I don't think so the mitigation is 100%. So because of that, this tanking mechanic from Dehya not seems that useful, because in the end you still need a healer, and the shielder did a better job, because at least if you already have shielder, you almost don't need any healer unless you're fighting that stupid corrosion wolf. But other than that, you don't need, and healer can heal by like to other person also, so you don't need any like tanking or other gimmick mechanic. But yeah, having the tanking like kinda Dehya in here feels you kinda waste your one slot in your team though. Okay, maybe some of you still want to defend Dehya and say, yeah, at least we can use Dehya as a pyro player, like Kokomi, even though she's not great. Yeah, but the difference is that Dehya pyro application is very slow. It's 2.5 seconds slower than Xiangling. And if you compare like another sub DPS kinda Yai official, it's even slower than this, slower than Raiden, slower than, if you say you want to use Invargen, slower than Toma. That means, yeah, you can use Invargen, but it will be worse than Toma itself, because it's 2.5 seconds, it's goddamn long. So as a player, not optimal also. Okay, maybe some of you still want to defend that, oh, I still can use this burst though. This looks like that Dehya can become hyper carry or main DPS. I would say, yeah, sure, you can do that, but I have to say the number is not amazing, because I'll give you a little bit spoil in here that from beta, her number basically until the final test is not great at all. Until the last beta, she only get buffed by 3%, and then basically the scaling is way far from Diluc, and even you want to compare kind of Sino case, this is far below from Sino case. Sino still become a good or passable main DPS. For me, this is as a 5-star below Diluc standard. It's pretty bad though. Yeah, I want to say you will still defend. Yeah, you still can make her worse for sure. Even Amber or Aloy can finish 36-star in Abyss, but it's just like you have to expect it's worse than the look. And then if you kind of wonder that you can put with Xingqiu and Yelan, basically you cannot, because what? This is automatic attack. It's not normal attack, so it cannot proc. And it already kind of tested by beta tester, it's not proc either. So yeah, but that's kind of makes sense because this is automatic attack. So to summarize, is Dehya Kit is actually very bad. Honestly, for the first time, I always defend every character that Hoyo first did. Even Kokomi, Kazuha, Yae, Sino, Wander. People trash talk about those characters. I still defend because I know I can make it use of her at least in anything. At least in Kokomi that time I can use her as a player of Hyro that actually pretty good, and as a good healer that at least good. Although I find it's kind of expensive that time before Dendro, but at least still can be useful. But Dehya, honestly, I cannot utilize almost everything on her. Cannot become a tank, cannot become a player, cannot become a carry. I don't know why should I use with him, honestly. This is the first time that I feel so sorry that I really like Dehya, but her kit is basically don't have any identity. That's the main problem. And also the scaling is too low. It's also another problem though. If either one of them is good, even though this kit like this, if the scaling or the number is actually pretty high, it doesn't matter. It can fix everything. But the problem is that the number is not even great. So it's, I don't know, I feel so sad with Dehya itself though. Yeah, so this is the first time I would say the character I would consider this bad. Yeah, maybe some of you still want to defend that. They say, oh, maybe Dehya in the future still have a bright future, maybe because there will be a unit that can support for Dehya. Some you will say artifacts, so it will be same like Kokomi or Zhongli, where time to time they'll become better and better though. But I would say Dehya is not the same case like Kokomi or Zhongli, because there's something that different and odd compared to Zhongli or Kokomi itself. Just watch the 3.5 live stream, the one that's very odd. Out of nowhere they announced Dehya come to standard banner. Out of nowhere that actually similar with Diluc, still Pyro and Claymore. Why? So it's already duplicate out of nowhere, and I believe they did this just because they already messed up with Dehya Kit and they know it's already quite bad, and they don't want the anger from the fans that keep begging for the buff or whatever. So they just said, just put in the standard banner so people will not mad though. Because if people think, okay, when you realize Dehya in the standard banner, oh, no wonder if she bad. So it's fine. If it's she in the limited, people will angry like crazy, I believe though. So I think in terms of reducing the anger, they just put in a standard banner, so they kind of know how to do it in that case. So you kind of know that usually standard banner they will not buff too much. If it's still in the limited, I believe they still have hope, but sadly it's already in the standard. Even though she will become better in the future, I believe it's not as great, I believe, like how get the Kokomi treatment or Zhongli. So yeah, okay, this is the end of Dehya. Right. So Dehya fans, all the Dehya main in for the future, don't feel so sad actually. Although mostly her kit cannot be utilized very well and everything that she do actually worse than other character, there's still actually one job that actually she can do a very good job, and potentially even kind of better if the resistant interruption maybe work better than we thought. So we have to figure out later, which is in Ganyu melt teams though, because in Ganyu melt teams, Ganyu basically don't need a very fast pyro player, and she really needs actually a resistant interaction, because charge attack really need a resistant interaction. So basically Ganyu can utilize this. So you only need to pair with Nahida, so the burning can continuously do the burning stuff of pyro application. So it's okay for the Dehya slow application of the pyro, and then Ganyu can keep doing the melt. So the team like Ganyu, Nahida, Dehya with Bennett will be potentially a good team for new Ganyu melt, which is, this is where the Dehya can genuinely can work very good though. It's not because you force like in a mono pyro that even worse than Diluc. No, this is actually Dehya can be
become a solid substitute. So that's the only hope that Dehya can work actually very well. Now we move to the weapon, and let's start with the 5-star weapon first. The best one, of course, the signature weapon, the beacon of something. I believe that will be work great for Dehya no matter what, because you should signature works like that. And the second, the best one is the red horn, because red horn usually very good for the general usage. So red horn will be a good for the second option. And the third one is wolf gravestone, because this is still okay, it still gives you attack that Dehya need, right? And also will further increase 20%, which is still very good for you to utilize though. So for the 4-star weapon, there's actually nothing that's super matched with Dehya, but there's a couple of them that at least can work quite good with Dehya. First one that I think the best, which is Aquamaru. Sadly, this is not obtainable by other than exclusive gacha, so it's a little bit sad, but the main set is pretty good. It gives you attack percentage, and effect will buff your elemental burst, which is good. Other than that, there's something that's similar, which is Fish Claymore, that you can utilize this, because this one gives you also same attack percentage and will buff your elemental burst. Other than that, you can try for if you are kinda into Dendro team, which is the Makaira Aquamarine, because the elemental mastery will benefit the kinda in the Dendro team, kinda Bargian stuff, something like that. And further effect also beneficial with the Dendro team. And then also the Rain Slasher, same case with the Aquamarine, because this is good with Dendro team, will give you elemental mastery as a main stat, which is useful for the Dendro. And effect also good, that will increase the hydro and electro reaction related by 20%, which is not bad. Other than that, if you're super free to play, you can try to use Prototype Archive. This is just because the attack percentage that we want to get, because the effect pretty much not really so solid. And then if you kind of want to become a support Dehya, the 5-1 is great sword is actually not bad, just because the effect though. The energy charge, yeah, good also for Dehya to get more bars, right? But the effect that we want to look, because if you hit crit, you will get energy particle that useful with other character in your team though. Other than that, you can utilize the bell, but this one is very support tanking that I don't really recommend, although this is still okay option though, because the basic scaling is HP and will give you another defensive purpose as an effect though. So for the artifact sets for Dehya, basically because Dehya don't have any identity in her roles, so it's very depends on what you want for your Dehya itself though. But for the general usage, I'll give with the Emblem of Severed Fate, just because 2-piece will give you energy charge, good to get Dehya burst back, and 4-piece will buff Dehya burst damage though. Other than that, you can try mix 2-piece of Tenacity of Millilith, which increase 20%, and 2-piece of Noblesse to buff the burst damage, which is quite good also. And then other than that, you can try 2-piece of Tenacity mixed with Gladiator or Seminawa, that also good. And other than that, you can try with, if you want your Dehya to be support, and you can go with the full 4-piece of Tenacity of Millilith, because 2-piece will give you HP, I already say, and then it will buff your RD member attack though by 20%, which is not bad. Other than that, if you want to make your Dehya just pure in a monopyro, then a 4-piece of Lava Walker will be a good option. And other than that, if you really want to put maybe in the Dendro team like kind of Bargain, then of course as usual 4-piece of Gilded Dream will be a good option for you. For Dehya, my artifact main stats basically same with the artifact main stats. It very depends on what role you want to put for your Dehya. So let's say in the Descents, if you want your Dehya to become like burst damage dealer, hyper carry stuff, then HP and or attack is also a good option, just because like Dehya is scaling off those both like attack and HP though. But if you kind of play in the Dendro or Bargain, then of course Elemental Mastery always a good option. And then for the Goblet itself, it's also depend if you want to become more offensive like hyper carry, fire damage bonus will be good. But if you want to become like very tanky tanker, then go with HP. If you are in the like Dendro team Bargain, then you can put Elemental Mastery also. And then for the Circlet, it also depends on what you need. If you need for the hyper carry burst damage dealer, then of course you put either crit or crit damage. Right? If you only care about tanking, then just go for the HP itself. But again, if you want for the Dendro team, you can go with the Elemental Mastery, also can work though. So for Dehya subset, actually Dehya can take a lot of subsets. So first one, of course, the best one is crit damage, followed by HP percentage or attack percentage, and then energy charge will be a good option. So for the Dehya team comp, I'm so sorry I cannot give much team comp because I already told you I don't know how to utilize her very well, except only for one team, so not so much team that I can recommend. First one that I think works very best, this one that really Dehya can stand out, which is Ganyu melt. So in here Ganyu, so Nahida and Xiangling just pretend to be Dehya, so change Dehya with Bennett. This is also can work very well. Other than that, if you don't want to be with Nahida, you can just put Kazuha in here, and instead you can put Dehya also in here, so something like that that you can utilize in Ganyu Belt. And other than that, you can do Mono Pyro, so Diluc as a Dehya, so Xiangling, Kazuha, and Bennett. This is basically just Mono Pyro, but yeah, Dehya version. And other than that, you can put on Barjan for Dehya itself, which is Toma. You will change with Dehya, of course, and then Fischl and Nahida for the Dendro Applicator, and Kokomi for the to trigger the core seed, so you can trigger the Barjan. So that's only 3 teams though. So yeah, that's pretty much the Dehya preparation guide. It's a little bit long just because I discussed a little bit about her kit, and then yeah, actually I still want to pull her just because I really like her, she's so badass. But yeah, there's suddenly Shenhe comes, so I have to kind of save my primo gem, so hopefully I can get her kind of lucky. And then yeah, I hope this is the only problem that Hoyoverse will did like this fatal though, because at least if they want to make like not so great character, at least as a Sino level, because if they keep doing like this, like it's okay, we just really release a bad character, people will pull anyway, we will still get money, so low effort but still get money. So same case with kind of Pokemon, it's kind of sad though. I don't want to see Hoyoverse like that. I still want Hoyoverse as like old Hoyoverse though. So I hope this is the last one, and yeah, I hope the best of luck with your pull on 3.5, either Dehya or whatever character. And yeah, if you like this video, feel free to hit subscribe button and like, and if you did, it's very helpful for me. And bye bye.